How do you decide which changes you want to do and which changes you don't want to do when you're in the middle of an agile transformation? That's what I'm going to attempt to answer today. Hello, my name is Tim McDermott. I'm a senior software development project manager. I live in the beautiful city of Tampa Bay. Today, my location is the Founders Cemetery, of all places. And you can see the grave of a young lady. I don't know this lady. I just know that she has a very beautiful grave site. She died in her early 20s, and there's her statue right there next to her grave. So very interesting, very surreal, very ghostly. Now, when you're going through an agile transformation, there's a long list of things that need to be changed usually. How do you decide which ones are worthwhile and which ones are not? Not everything is worth pursuing. Some of them may be the cost, the difficulty make them not worth pursuing, and some of them have such great value that even though they have a great cost, you have to pursue them. How do you determine which ones to pursue and which ones not to pursue? Well, there is a tool called force field analysis, and it helps you make those types of decisions. You can it's a chart, basically, with 3 columns. And the first thing you need to do is to find out what is the purpose for a particular change that you're trying to evaluate. And then the chart has 3 columns, and you write that purpose in the middle column of the chart. Next, on the left column, you write down what are the forces working against you on this change, and list them in that column. And then to the right, on the third column, out beside the purpose column, you list the forces against that change in that column. Now you have your 3 columns filled out, but now you go back over those 3 columns and you score each of those forces for the change. On the left, you write a score next to their name of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 5 being the strength of the force is strong. 1 being the strength of the force is very weak. You do that for each item in the forces for change column, and then you do the same thing again for the forces against change column. 1 to 5. 5 being the strongest forces against change, 1 being the weakest forces against change. Now you have all of those scores for each column, and the 4 forces for change column total up the scores. Now over in the forces against change column, total up the scores. And then at that point you can look at and decide, based upon the differences between the 2 scores, is this worth pursuing or is it not worth pursuing? If it's a high total score for change and a low total score against change, then that's probably one that you would want to do. And if it's the reverse, that's probably the ones that you don't want to do. Now, in addition to this, you can draw arrows from the 4 change columns for each force, and the size of the arrow can show you the larger arrows pointing back to the purpose show you that there's the strength of the force is high, and the smaller arrows show the strength of the force is low. You can do that to kind of get a visual representation. You can also then look at, so you've decided which ones you're going to do, you can look at the strengths for change and try to figure out how do you strengthen those forces, and you can look at the forces against change and figure out how you're going to weaken those forces. So it will help you increase the success of completing your change. All right, that's it for this explanation. I am now going to get out of this very spooky old, there's some people here that they died back in the 1800s. There are people here that are relatives of the Kennedys, like relatives of JFK and Robert Kennedy. They're buried here. It's very spooky, very creepy. If you see any orbs behind me, let me know. Thank you all, and please like and share this video. Please post your comments. I thank you all very much.